There is one thing that I think every angler needs, and it goes by many names. A home base, a command center, a lair, a man cave, or a she shed. Can't forget about my massive female audience out there. I see you, ladies. This is the magical place where you store all of your precious gear and tackle, where you prepare for your epic adventures, and it's the only room in the house that you can decorate however the hell you want. I believe part of being a great angler is having a place where you can efficiently prepare. So today, I'm going to be taking you on a tour of my fishing man cave. I'm not going to focus so much on the gear and tackle, but rather the room itself. I'll show you how I am maximizing my humble 12 by 12 abode to house all of my gear and tackle, and also how I've decorated to ensure that my wife never shows this room to our guests. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to work my way around the room and cover things as I go, but if you're only here for the organizational type stuff, I'm going to chapterize the video based on those items, and I'll also be putting links down in the description of the video where you can find them. But I do have some pretty cool decor in here, so I hope you'll come along with me and check it out. So first we're going to look up. Bam! Check that out, guys. That is by Ceiling. It is a PVC tiled ceiling. It is a black and antique copper ornate pattern. And aside from just looking badass, those tiles actually dampen the sound. I got my wife sleeping directly above me, so she doesn't have to listen to me down here stuttering my way through my videos and stuff. So it also serves a purpose. And if we make our way down to the wall in front of me, we have what might be an even more controversial interior design choice. This wall is from floor to ceiling covered in artificial box hedge. I'll back up here so you guys can see the whole thing. And you'll notice as we work around the room, I just don't like flat, boring, plain colors. I like three-dimensional things. I like textures and patterns and natural woods and metals and stuff like that. But I will at least acknowledge that this was a bit of a controversial choice. And check this out right here, guys, right here. This is a tiny moose. My wife and my daughters bought a bunch of little tiny different animals, and they have hidden them in the box hedge around the room. I have this wall here. It's probably got a dozen animals in it. I've got some more box hedge there that's got some animals hidden in it. And I've got some up there, and they've just hidden these tiny little plastic animals all throughout that box hedge, and I just haven't bothered to move them. I just let them chill in the box hedge and live there. See, look here, I just found a little axolotl. Alright, I thought about skipping over the cringiest thing in my room, but we'll just rip it off like a band-aid. These are my Funko Pops. I don't know if you can call it a collection. I only got 7 of them, but we got Steve Irwin here. That's my favorite one. That's a childhood hero of mine. And then Ron Swanson, Michael Scott, always been a fan of The Office and Parks and Rec. And then we got Charizard over here. Might be the lamest one here. I haven't really messed with Pokemon in like 20 years, but that was a huge part of my childhood. And if you think about it, fishing is a lot like Pokemon, you know? You gotta catch them all. Got a William Wallace up here from Braveheart. That's my favorite movie. And then of course we got Bigfoot, just because I like Bigfoot. These two are actually pretty rare. Those are about $100 each on eBay. And this can up here is actually a secret container. The lid pops off like that. And it's actually full of coupons that I got from my wife like 2 Christmases ago, but check this out. You can use any coupon once. You can use it at any given time unless I am sick or some stuff. Please hide these in your office and I will rip them up after each use. I can't show you the actual coupons because then the video will get flagged. Up here I got a signed photo of David Ketchner. I'm not sure why. And right above the door here we have a giant fire tiger Rapala lure. I'm actually going to get another one soon from Fish USA. They came out with a really cool American flag themed one, and I'm going to hang it up the same way up here in this corner. And here we have the doors to the room, and I recently started putting stickers on here, and I'm planning on filling up the entire outside frame of the doors with stickers, only one per company, and I have no doubt it's only going to take probably a couple years to fill all of that space. And over here in the corner is probably the first thing you guys will actually be interested in. This is how I store my conventional rods. These are the Simple Deluxe brand wall mount rod holders. Each set comes with 2 pieces. We got the top piece up here and the bottom piece down here that holds the butt of the rod handle. If you look in here, you can see how these kind of fit together like a puzzle piece, so you can install as many as you like side by side, and altogether I can hold 18 rods here. And up here on the wall I got another set that can hold 6 of my ice rod and reel combos. And check this out, guys. This has to be, without a doubt, the most simple, minimalistic, efficient reel storage system on the market. This is the Universal Reel Holder by Pesca Innovations. And as you can see, I've got 4 of them here mounted under the shelf, but you can also, if you look inside there, there's 2 additional screw holes. You can also wall mount these. And they're compatible with fly reels, bait casters, and spinning reels. And check this out, guys. This is another product by Pesca Innovations. This is the fly rod tube holder quad shelf. And as you can see here, this shelf is perfectly sized for fly rod tubes, and I can fit 4 here in this compact little space that I otherwise wouldn't be using. Simple, efficient, compact, and affordable. It just doesn't get any better than that. And check this out, guys. You can get these custom engraved. Unfortunately, I got this one engraved with my old channel name, but doesn't really matter. And you can change this second line as well if you want to. I couldn't really think of anything, so I just had Nikolai put his own company name there. I'm putting a link down in the description of the video to the Pesca Innovations Etsy shop. And guys, Nikolai has designed and 3D printed a ton of different storage options for your gear and tackle. And I'm actually collaborating with him on a universal lure holder, which is also compatible with the biggest, heaviest musky lures out there. And when it's done, it will be the best storage option and display option for your big musky lures. And guess what, guys? Nikolai has generously provided me with a code to share with you guys that will save you 10% at the Pesca Innovations Etsy shop. So as of today, you can now use code 10NXTLVL. That's 10 next level without the E's to save yourself 10%. So you can save some money, support a small business, and get yourself some cool stuff. All right, down below here, we got a couple of extra heavy duty wall hooks. These are for my backpack style tackle boxes. I'm about to pick up a drift backcountry waterproof backpack for fly fishing, and that's what's going to occupy this hook. And I'll find another home for my Tenkara simple pack because this doesn't take up a whole lot of space. The best candle in existence, the White Barn Mahogany Teakwood Intense. Anytime I'm in here doing some editing, I pretty much always got a candle lit. And moving back up here, we got the shelf itself. I cut this wood, I stained it, and I built this shelf myself. It's 16 feet of floating shelf, and it has a ton of storage. And you'll see up here on the shelf, I got these storage bins. I got 2 here, 2 over there, 4 down there, and those are all packed to the brim with trays of tackle, bags of soft plastic, terminal tackle, fishing line, everything you can think of. Lots of treasures inside these bins. And right up here above the bins, we have a metal pegboard by Wall Control. That's the brand, Wall Control. And I got 1 here, I got 1 down here, I got 1 up there, and then my final one is right here. And this one right here is special. I converted this one into a charging station. It has a power strip mounted on the inside on the back, and I drilled a bunch of holes in this one for cable grommets so I can run my cables through it and charge all my equipment and my batteries and my lights and all that stuff. As you guys can see, I do have some cables hanging over the back and stuff. It's a little bit disorganized, but once I get a drone, which will be the last piece of equipment that I need to charge up, I'll go ahead and reorganize this, redo the cable management, and just clean it up. And now sliding on over here, we have the Acro Mills wall mount 44 drawer storage system. And I've got 2 of these mounted up, and these little drawers are perfect for storing all kinds of fly tying materials, terminal tackle, jig heads, beads, hooks, anything you can think of. These are extremely useful. And what I like about these is that they're translucent, so you can see into them, you can see the contents without having to open the drawer or use unsightly labels on the outside. And you can also very easily remove these drawers and change the location, so you don't have to take everything out of the drawers in order to reorganize the whole cabinet. And moving over again here to the left, we have this little thing down here, which is called a dome dock. And this is just a very simple piece of plastic with an adhesive backing, but it holds a ton of hats. I could stack this thing all the way up to the shelves. And I'm not going to show you all of my hats, but check this one out, guys. That one's signed by Jacob Wheeler. Pretty sick. And speaking of autographs, guys, check this out. A signed copy of Kevin Van Dam's Bass Strategies. Definitely a good read. I highly recommend you guys check that out. That might be one of the coolest things in the room. And heading on down to the end of this shelf, we have this really awesome little statue of a loon. If you didn't know, a loon is my absolute favorite bird. If you've never been out in a remote location where there's just no noise, where it's dead silent, and heard the call of a loon rolling across the water, it is haunting. It gives me chills. And I've had some of my best fishing days when there were loons around. I don't know what it is. I think they're just good luck, but they're also just the ultimate fish catching predator. If you've never watched a loon swim around underwater catching those bait fish, it is absolutely cool. All right, on a serious note real quick, I think this goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Don't tell my wife that I told you about those coupons earlier, okay? There's this thing called the bro code. You guys are in the circle of trust, and you don't want to be outside the circle of trust, so come on. Don't tell my wife. Look at this, guys. You Tenkara guys out there will have to admit, this is the coolest way that you've seen for displaying Tenkara rods. This is a Japanese katana display stand, and it has the perfect diameter for holding those rod tubes. I mean, come on, just look at it. That's super cool. And right now I've got a bunch of big Daredevil flutter spoons hanging off the bottom, and that's not really by choice. I just don't have a good place to put my big lures, but we'll get to that in just a minute. And down here below is just a big dresser that I use for storage. It's got a lot of fly tying materials and fly fishing stuff, and it's super disorganized at the moment. These are just natural materials and non-natural materials. Once I have more stuff, I'll definitely come back and reorganize that. Over here in this corner, we have my computer set up. There's not really much to talk about or explain there, except for down here. This is my computer that I use for all of my editing. This thing is an absolute beast. It's easily the most expensive thing in this room, but for whatever reason, 6 of my 9 case fans went rogue and just started changing colors. So just imagine this all red, because it looks way cooler the way it was before. And you can barely see it because the lights are on, but check this out. I got that red underglow for the desk down there. Pretty sweet. And right here is my miniature testing tank. You guys have seen this in some of my videos. I use it to show underwater footage and just test out some materials in the water. It's pretty sweet. So that pretty much covers everything in the room up to this point, but now I want to go over some plans that I have for improvements in the future. So first, I think I'm going to get rid of this Michigan sign. Unfortunately, it just doesn't serve any functional purpose, even though it looks cool and I made it myself. So if you live near me and you want this thing, you can have it, because if not, it's probably getting thrown away. Then I'm going to find a new spot for KVD. That way I can install another wall control pegboard right here next to it, because those are just super useful. It holds a ton of lures, a ton of terminal tackle, and I could really use another one. And you'll see up here that there's a lot of empty space all the way across the top of the wall, especially after we get rid of that Michigan sign. And as I mentioned before, I'm collaborating with Pesca Innovations on the design of a universal lure hanger, and I think I'm going to install it wall to wall all the way across the top of this wall. And I'm going to hang up all of my bigger musky lures on this side that has the most clearance on it, but just all musky and big pike lures all the way across the top there. And that might seem like a lot of space, but based on the amount of lures that I acquired in my first season casting for muskies, I'm gonna fill that up in less than a couple years. And down here, you'll see a floating desk that I built. This actually folds down against the wall. This is where I film all of my little tutorials that I do with my hands, like my knot tying videos and stuff like that. And what I'm going to do is get rid of this corner desk. You'll see here, it's got these metal legs and everything that pretty much renders the floor space down here entirely unusable. And so what I'm going to do is build a floating desk. Much like this one, it's going to come out from the wall, and it's going to be flush with the end here, and it's going to be natural wood like the shelves up here. And it's going to go all the way to the corner and all the way over to the end of the shelf right here. I'm also going to take my monitors and I'm going to mount those on the wall back there so that they're floating above. And once that's done, I'm just going to have a tremendous amount of workable surface area here for all of my projects. And over here in this corner, you'll see we have some empty wall space. I have my eyes on a really nice fly rod travel case. And once I have it, I'll figure out how to hang it up on the wall here. And if we back up here, this wall is in the background of a lot of my videos, and you'll notice up here at the top there is an empty space across the top of the wall there, and that space is going to stay empty until I catch my first 50-inch muskie, and I'm going to mount it and put it up there. At least that's the plan. So up here in this corner, I'm planning to hang another giant Rapala lure just like that one, but the American flag version found at Fish USA, and then right there a 50-inch replica mount of a muskie. So I'll back up here and just visualize it, guys. That's gonna be so cool. Okay, on the opposite wall here, I'm planning to do some window treatments, nothing special, just some blackout curtains, probably just black color, because when I did my most recent video with my Zoom call interviews, it was really difficult to see. It really affected the quality because the light, when it comes through these blinds, even when they're closed, creates a horrible glare. So I definitely need some curtains that I can block that sun with. And then over here on this side, I'm planning to do a neon sign of my logo, NXTLVL, and I'll be able to conceal the cord behind the faux box hedge all the way down to the outlet, and that's just gonna look great. And back over here in the Cringe corner, unfortunately, most likely all of this stuff has to go. As I continue to acquire more and more tackle and get into more types of fishing, like ice fishing and kayak fishing, I'm going to need more useful, functional space, and this stuff is just gonna have to go. Sorry, David Ketchner, you gotta go. Steve Irwin stays in this room. The rest of these guys gotta go. I won't stop believing, but you gotta go. Once I've made all of these improvements, we'll say in about 3 to 4 years time, we'll come back and I'll do another tour of my fishing man cave, and I bet you it's gonna look a lot different. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think an important part of being a good angler is having a place where you can efficiently prepare, and when you use that same space to express yourself, it becomes a fishing man cave. If you have some cool stuff in your man cave at home or have some suggestions for my space here, I'm totally open to it. I'd love to hear about it down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.